Aloha kids! My tennis racket is not only used for air guitar, but it is also used for a game called tennis. Tennis requires a skill called striking, and striking is a skill we practice a lot in physical education. So today is a striking day. What else besides tennis do we use for striking? How about baseball? We have a baseball bat, we're striking with our baseball bat. Or if you play ping pong, or if you play badminton, or if you play hockey. In hockey, you're striking something. So those are usually an implement, like a tennis racket or a hockey stick or a baseball bat. You actually strike a volleyball when you hit it for a serve, or you strike a soccer ball. But the striking we're talking about utilizes an implement. So in this case, a tennis racket. And remember, you could also use your hand. There's actually a game called handball, in which they use a rubber ball and they hit it with their hand against a wall. It's played 1v1. So, before we get into striking, you might think, well, Mr. O, I don't have a tennis racket, but that's okay. What do you have around the house that you could use to strike? Obviously, you have your hand. I found a frying pan. Don't tell my wife that I stole it out of the cupboard. I also found a plastic spoon, also don't tell my wife. And I have a balloon, I'm not sure if you have a balloon. I balled up a sock. I have some of these for an at-home challenge we're gonna do at the very end of the video. And I have a tennis ball, since I like tennis. So depending on what you have is what you're gonna practice with, and I'd like you to practice this for about 10 minutes. So let's talk a little bit about how to hold. So if you have a tennis racket, you generally want to think about shaking hands with somebody. So if my racket is here and I'm shaking hands with the racket, this is basically how I want to hold the end of the handle of the racket. Once I have my position down, I want to just start with some basic easy things. So if I have my tennis ball, I'll do something called ups. So I'm just going to keep the tennis ball up in the air as long as I can. If I had a balloon, I could do ups with a balloon. If I had my skillet and a tennis ball, I could do ups. Then there are flip-flops. A flip-flop is when I go from the open end of my racket to the back side of my racket. So I go flip, flop, flip, flop. This is more difficult. Flip, flop, flip, flop, flip, flop. Much harder to do with a skillet. Flip, flop, flip, flop, flip, flop. Then there's also something called downs. Downs is when you take the ball and you push it into the ground. These are called downs. So you're learning and practicing hand-eye coordination and tracking. Tracking is a visual skill when it's really high level concentration on a ball that's moving in the air and concentrating on it so that your hand and your brain can work together to hit it while it's in the air or while it's bouncing. What are some other things you can use? We talked about a balloon and a spoon. So I could do ups with my balloon. I could do flip-flops with either end. I could try to kneel down. While I'm kneeling, I could try to get up. I could do a spinorama and turn around. I could let the balloon fall almost all the way to the ground and try to get it up. I could do a one knee, then to two, then to sitting, and then back up. You can come up with as many tricks as you want or that you can think of in your imagination, but the more practice, the better your hand-eye coordination is going to develop. Now, footwork is kind of interesting because I wanted to play a game. So footwork is the difference between a forehand and a backhand. So you always want to be turned sideways when you hit the ball. Just like when you're playing baseball or softball, you're sideways. So your shoulder is going towards the pitcher. So this is a sidearm swing. in a game of tennis or badminton, when you open up and the inside part of your palm is facing forward, that's called forehand. And if you turn the other way and the back of your hand is facing the way you want to go, that's called backhand. So you're in a ready position, but you don't know if the ball is going to go to your right or to your left. So if it's coming to my forehand, I step with my opposite foot, and I'm turned sideways, and I come through and hit. If the ball comes to my opposite side, I step forward with my opposite foot, I turn, I'm sideways, and this is called backhand. So if you do a couple of those, ready position, forehand, step and turn, ready position, backhand, step and turn. So these are good practice drills. And also remembering, when you turn, when you come through and hit, a lot of the power comes from your hips coming through quickly. So the faster you can get your hips through, you can recruit more power in your hits. So the last thing I wanted to do was to play a game. This is a 40-second game. You can play as long as you want. See if you can beat me. If you want to try and beat me, it's 40 seconds. This is an at-home challenge, and you will need a skillet and 4 socks. So I took my 4 socks and they rolled up in little balls. This is my target. This is my laundry basket. So you'll need something to hit into. So the object of the game is, I'm going to turn sideways. I'm going to one at a time try to hit one of my socks and put it into the laundry bin. And then after I hit all 4, I'm going to retrieve them, get them back, and go again, and see how many I can get in 40 seconds. All right, get ready. All right, there's my 40-second count. Just short. There's 1. I quickly get them. 2, just short. Just 1. That's it, that's 2. That's 3. Gotta be quick, kids. Socks falling up. Just long. There's 3. My score was 3. See what you can get. This is Striking Day with Mr. O. So if you get a chance, get out there, get whatever you have, strike away. Aloha, my friends.